Stitch Cuties, I'm Brittany with Stitches of Love Quilting, and welcome to the video tutorial for making this cute little snow block truck in your embroidery machine 8" by 12" hoop. So let's talk about what you need to do to get started. This is your first block in the series. So in your pattern, you're gonna have a reminder that of course you need to make, you'll check what's in your box, then you're going to make your flying geese, which you have a video tutorial for, and then you're gonna come back and do your applique. So what I have done is organized my applique pieces, and let me show you how I've done that. So what I do is I use the placement guide provided. Let me show you that in the pattern. You have a placement guide and reverse applique pieces. So what you can do is simply take your pieces and put it on top where they go and where they fit, and you can number them. That way you organize all of your pieces. From there, what I like to do is then put them in numerical piles that coincide with the pattern. For example, our first step, we're gonna get it outline and iron on 1 through 3, 8, 19, and 20. So what I do is I make a little pile with those pieces. So I have piece number 1, 2, 3, then 8, then 19, and 20. So I put it in a little pile, and I do that for all the steps of the pattern. And then I just simply sit those off to the side. And then that way, see, so I have another little pile right here for each step. And that way my pieces are nice and organized throughout the entire process. And I do want to remind you that when it comes to the white pieces, you have 2 of each piece. And that's because we want to double line the whites. That'll make sense as we go through the process. Now, the next thing you'll want to do is organize your threads. So what I do is go to the part of the pattern where we talk about what we're sewing. Anytime you have the little thread icon, you know you need to pay attention to your thread. So we start with white and we proceed through all of our placement guidelines with white. And then we start moving into the fun color changes. So I just organize my colors on the side. Speaking of the threads, what we're using is the 40 weight threads. This is our 40 weight thread kit. It has all 20 colors that you need. So I use that in my needle. I use a 7511 embroidery needle, and then I have just a white pre-round bobbin in my bobbin case. Easy peasy. Now at the very end of this, when we get to the embellishments, let me show you in the pattern. You can see that I notate that you can use the Filane pale turquoise, or you can use the rayon turquoise. So if you don't have the Filane thread kit, you can use your rayon threads as your embellishments. But if you want that really fun, fluffy thread, the Filane, this is a thread kit. There's only 11 colors in it. And so you're also going to use those Filanes at the end. When we get to that step, I slow my machine down with this Filane thread, and I put in a larger needle. I put in the 116 universal needle. You can use this on your embroidery machine or your sewing machine. But of course, this is the embroidery tutorial, so we're gonna use it on the embroidery machine. So that's enough about the threads, you know all that. And then in your box every month, you will have 1 square already cut, so approximately 10 inches. And this is the background fabric. So this month is the cute little denim circles. You're just lightly starch it, give it a press. Use the same amount of starch throughout. I like to use just a little bit of the starch to keep it like just starched enough. But whatever preference you have for starching is fine. Just be consistent throughout because you want your fabrics kind of to react the same way throughout the quilt. And then you are ready to go. So what I like to do is just check off on my pattern as I go. So now you're gonna wanna load your embroidery file onto your machine. And then you are going to want to put on the white thread, and let's get started with the first step. Okay, so what your machine stitches first for you is a little line at the top and bottom, and we're gonna use this as a guide for placing our fabric. So you're just gonna simply put your fabric right in place. You're gonna center it in the hoop, and you just want it to extend past the top and bottom of that stitch line and make sure it's extending past equally on the sides, or pretty equally, because this line right here, just to tell you, is 7.5 inches. When we trim our block, we're actually trimming to 8 inches. So we're gonna use our placement guide that comes in the pattern as a guide for trimming accurately. All right, so that's in there. You can put a little tape at the top and bottom if you want to hold it in place. The next step, your machine is going to stitch the same line at the top and bottom to secure your fabric and ultimately give you a guideline to help with trimming. And it's gonna give you your first round of applique pieces. So what's gonna stitch next will be step 8. Alrighty, so we have our first round of applique outlines. You can see right there. Now I always turn my hoop sideways in front of me to fit on my Steady Betty. So just know that I work kind of sideways in the hoop. So what we're gonna do first, we are on step 9. We're gonna iron pieces 1, 2, 3, 8, and 19, and 20 into place. And you can always reference your placement guide as well, just for reference to know you're getting the right piece in the right place. All of your pieces are gonna be absolute perfect fits into the line. So when I digitize this, I take Julie's original art, which she gives to me hand-drawn on paper. I clean everything up on the computer, and then I use those same lines to work between our lasers, the embroidery machine, your pattern, everywhere, so that you have the exact same perfect fit for your pieces throughout the entire process. So now we're gonna put piece number 2 in place. With a large piece like this, just sort of work your way over, getting it in place. There we go, looking good. All right, and I will say, make sure you have nice lighting in your sewing space so that you can see what you're doing. That's really important. There we go, and it only takes a few seconds of heat. That's it. This is sulky, perfect applique. Oh, I love it. It's amazing. It's so lightweight. Look at that. It's just great. Now this is piece number 3. Again, lots of little tree branches. Make sure everything is lined up, and then just work your way up the piece, pressing it in place. Now we have piece number 8. Now this is a double lined piece. There are 2 of the exact same piece. Doesn't matter which one you put down first on this. You just want to make sure you do both. And the reason is because this double lines it, and it just helps hide the background fabric a little bit and make it a nice crisp white for your little snowman. A lot of the blocks in this quilt are gonna have double lined pieces. Like I know the second block has little white flowers, things like that. Alrighty, and then with your tires, they are not the same tire. They're a little different. So make sure that you number it from your placement guide or your reverse applique pieces as a guide for you. And then 19 is the tire on the left. So for me, it's the tire closest to me. There we go. And if you did tape your fabric in place, remove that tape when you're ironing. You don't want to have to worry about accidentally ironing it and getting your iron sticky. I've done that before. It's not a fun thing to clean up, I must say. There we go. And now when we put this back on our machine, we will get our next round of applique outlines. Okay, so now we have our next round of applique outlines. We have 4 through 7, 9, 10, 11, and 12 over here, and then 15 is the top of the hat. Now there are pieces that over and underlap, so you want to make sure you go in numerical order. So you want to make sure you put down piece number 4 first, just like so. Get that in there nicely. Give it a press. Then we have piece number 5. There we go. We're just going to peel the backing off. And all of the little arms are different on the snowman. So you want to make sure that you use your placement guide and your reverse applique pieces to number them correctly. Then we're going to jump over and do piece number 6. That's his arm over here. He's got so many arms. There we go. And where did it go? Right there. Cute as can be. I love bringing the applique to life in the embroidery machine, especially when it's like cute little characters. Wait till we get to the embellishment stitching and their little faces go on. So cute. So now there are 2 pieces of the white because it's a white piece that needs double lines. So get the first one in place, give it a press, and then you'll put that second piece directly on top. There we go. Easy peasy, huh? Don't you love having all the pieces cut out? It would take so long to cut out all these pieces. I think there's 34 different shapes. And then with the double lining, I think it works out to what, 39 pieces, something like that. I listed in the pattern, but it's a bunch. So now we're doing number 9, which is this arm right here. I had to look at my placement guide, make sure I was right. So arm number 9 goes in place. And hopefully you're watching this video and just putting your pieces in place alongside me, and then simply just pause the video while your machine is stitching. And then we meet back up to put our pieces in place together. It's fun to watch the machine stitch, isn't it? I love doing that. I have a nice little comfy chair. I have to stand when I'm doing this, which is funny, but then when it's stitching, I pull up a little chair and watch it for a second. So piece number 10. Now we're gonna do arm number 11. We have this joke in our family, and you say you had an arm over here, arm over there. It like goes as part of a joke. So when I'm talking about little snowman arms, that's what I'm thinking of, is this like a little funny joke that we do in our family. But I won't tell you the joke because, well, I don't really remember how it goes. I just remember the punchline. So, you know, not that great of a joke to share, is it? Alrighty, and then the left side, or the right side, excuse me, of his jacket. So cute. There we go. And then we have one more piece to put in place, and that's up here. Piece number 15, the top of his hat. So now the next step, the machine is going to give us another round of applique outline. So basically what we're doing is we're just building our applique from bottom to top in the hoop of our embroidery machine. Alrighty, so let's continue on and have the machine give us our next step. Alrighty, so we have our next round of applique outline. So let's start putting our pieces in place. We're on step 13, by the way, in our pattern. So first up, we're gonna iron on piece number 13, our little snowman head. And there are 2, just like always with the white. There we go, get that put in place. There we go. And the second piece of white right on top. There we go. So cute. Don't you love that double lining? Really makes a difference, doesn't it? Then you have your little stripes for the little top of your little guy. You can have fun with those stripes, put it however you want. I'm gonna do them kind of angled. He's a crazy snowman, you know? Then he sounded Jamaican. I don't know, maybe he's on vacation. Alrighty, and then we have this cute piece of our truck. And again, with a big piece, start on one end and then just work your way over, getting it lined up just right. There we go. Nice and in place. And give it a press. There we go. And then we have 2 white pieces, number 22, and they are a perfect fit right here. They just butt right up to the truck. There we go. See, how nice was that? Perfect fit. Love it. And then the next little bumper piece that we put in place is a perfect fit right up to the bottom part of this white piece as well. I did that on purpose. I thought it would make it easier in placing it. There we go. And plus, for the people doing sewing machine applique, they have the opportunity to hand stitch this right here. And so the less layering you have, the better when you're stitching by hand. Alrighty, so now when we put this back on, we'll get another round of applique outlines. Alrighty, so we have another round of applique outlines. And again, you wanna make sure you do all of them in numerical order. We are on step number 15, so we'll start with piece number 14. And that's this cute little nose on our snowman. There we go. Press that in place. Then we have his cute little striped top of his hat. Cute little stripes. There we go. Next up, we will put the bumper on. And again, this little square cutout is a perfect fit, or a rectangle cutout rather. So just make sure that it lines up across the board. There we go. Give it a little press here. And there we go. Easy peasy. Now we are putting on pieces 21, 24 and 25. Well, that was 21, right? Yes, that was 21. Now we're doing 24 and 25, so the little piece of the scarf. And you want to make sure you put 24 down first because, of course, piece 25 does overlap over it. So you want it to be right. There we go. Now piece 25. There we go. And now when it comes to the bunting, so 28 through 34, I numbered mine, of course, but also I'm going to pull my pattern cover out and let's take a little look at that, right? So I am going to make sure I'm putting my pieces in the right order. So let's just go on and lay them out up here. That'll make it easy, right? 28, 34. I had them in numerical order, but I bumped them, I guess. Let's see. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So I just laid mine out right here so I can easily put them in place. I try to make it as easy as possible on myself. Don't you think? Make your life easy. And we're just gonna put each little guy in place. There we go. Then number 29. And they don't overlap. They come right up next to each other, if that helps you get them in place. Then number 30. Aren't these fun prints? It's a mixture of like some Riley Blake basics, some Lori Holt fabric on the bunting. Super cute. I love it. Especially the little stripes. These 1/8 inch stripes are just awesome. We use them a lot because we love them. It's a good stripe. Nice and cute little print for applique. And then this little guy. See, easy peasy. Oh my gosh, how cute is it looking? Is that making you happy? Good. I hope it is. It's making me happy. I'm having fun. Alrighty, and one more piece on this step. Then when we put this back on, we have 2 more applique outline steps. This next one is going to give us an outline of the little snowman head and then our license plate, and then 1 more step after that for the final nose on our snowman. So I'll move my pattern out and let's continue on to the next step. Okay, so we have 2 applique outlines. I have a little string from where my machine started. Let me trim that before I iron my piece on. There we go. So we're going to put piece number 23, cute little license plate tag. And you want to make sure this is nice and lined up, just like all the pieces. So we have the cutest little stitch. The buttonhole stitch on this, I think I took down to like a 1.5. It's so cute to stitch over this little thin part. I love the way it turns out. There we go. Beautiful. And now let's give this snowman a face, a head. He's got to have a head. How will he know where he's driving? Of course, I guess they're not driving. They're facing the back of the truck. Never thought about that. There we go. And the second piece right on top. And remember, these are not perfect circles. It's like a kind of weird oval shape. So make sure you do turn it the right direction. There we go. So we have 1 more applique outline because we got to give this little guy a nose. So that'll be our next step. Alrighty, so we have that nose to iron on, and guess what else stitched? I forgot to mention that just a second ago. All the white buttonhole stitching stitched. How cute. Your little snowmen are adorable. Okay, let's give him a nose. He can't smell anything. There we go. The cute little nose right in place. There we go. And boop. There we go. So now for the remaining steps, I'm going to take my hoop on and off so we can talk about the thread color changes in this tutorial. However, for you, you don't need to take your hoop on and off for every thread color change. Just keep the hoop on the arm of your machine. You're good to go. So we are going to load the 1218 silver gray, and your machine is going to stitch around the little mirror and the bumper of your truck. Alrighty, let's take a look at how good our stitching looks. The silver gray looks so nice. Now we are going to put on, oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite colors. How beautiful is this? This is 1293, the deep Nassau blue. Is that not just gorgeous? So this is going to stitch, let's see, piece is 2 and 16, 17, 18. So it's gonna go around here, it's gonna go around here, and then I believe it goes around the top of our little hats. Yeah, 16, 17, 18. Yes, it does. It's gonna be super cute. Alrighty, let's take a look at the blue that's stitched. It looks so cute. I love it. Fun thing that I did up here, so I have all of the stitching mostly at a 2.5, and then as we progress over here to the left, it gets closer and closer to the bunting. I took it down all the way to like a 1.2 because I didn't want it to go over the bunting, but I still wanted that stitching there for you. So fun thing, I changed the sizes here and you can't even tell, it looks so good. Okay, so now we're going to load 1177 avocado. So our tree will be stitched and then 2 pieces of our little bunting. Alrighty, let's take a look at our little tree. 2 of our little buntings are stitched. So cute. So now we're gonna load the 1061 pale yellow, and yes, I'm holding a giant spool. Yours and your kid is the petites like everything, but I just had one on my wall that honestly, I don't know if I've ever used it, so I'm using that one. And so the little scarf is gonna be stitched for you. Alrighty, so our scarf is all stitched and looking cute. Now it's time to load 1130, and the machine is gonna stitch all 4 little snowman arms for us. Alrighty, take a look at our cute little snowman arms. Oh my gosh, honest to pee, is that not the cutest little stitching on it? I love it. So now we're going to load 1095 turquoise, and the machine is gonna stitch the cute little jacket he's wearing around the middle of his hat. It's gonna stitch 2 pieces of our bunting. So cute. Alrighty, take a look at all your little turquoise stitching. Looks so cute. Now we're going to load pumpkin pie 1833, and your little snowman noses are gonna be stitched, and then 1 little bunting. Alrighty, take a look at your cute little noses. They look so cute, and you have the little orange bunting. Now we're going to load black, and your machine is going to stitch your little license plate tag and your 2 tires. Alrighty, let's take a look. Our little wheels and our little license plate. Look at those stitches. Oh my gosh, they're just perfect. I love it. So now we're going to load butterfly gold, and we have just 1 little bunting to stitch. Alrighty, cute little bunting in the butterfly gold is stitched. Now we are going to load the 1039 true red, and then the last little bunting will be stitched, and then after that we're gonna move to our fillet thread. Okay, so everything is stitched except for our embellishments with the fillet. So the next 3 steps in your embroidery file show you the rayon thread color that you can use to do your embellishment stitching. However, in your pattern, we've told you what color fillet thread to use. So where it says the 1095 rayon on your embroidery file, you can load the 3318 pale turquoise fillet or that rayon thread color. The choice is yours based on which thread you want to use for your embellishment stitching. Now, I'm going to use the fillet because that's what we used in the sample, and it turns out so stinking cute. Now, what you want to do if you're using the fillet at this step, don't move your embroidery file, don't move your arm of your machine, don't do anything like that. All you need to do is access your settings and slow your machine down, and then we're going to change our needle. So you can change your needle, just simply take the hoop off of your machine, change your needle real fast, and I'm going to put in the 116 universal needle. And the reason we're doing that is it has a bigger opening, a bigger eye in the needle, so it can pass through this thicker fillet thread. So again, for the next 3 steps, slow that machine down and let's put in this big needle and let's have fun with some fillet thread. I'm ready for y'all to see how cute it looks. Okay, y'all, how good does that look? I love this fillet thread. Look at that up close. Beautiful stitching. It does so good on the embroidery machine. I love it. And again, the key is this bigger needle and slowing down the machine, and you have such great outcomes. I love it. So now, I mean, honestly, look at these perfect little, look at that. Oh my goodness. So stinking cute. They almost look like buttons. They're so perfectly stitched. I can't get over it. Okay, so now for the next color, you can load the 1039 rayon or the 3324 light red fillet thread, which is what I'm going to use. And so this little guy will get his buttons, and then we'll have the little red accent lines stitched on either side. Okay, so cute. Look, the little bunting has its red string. This little guy has his cute little buttons on. So now for the final thread color, we're gonna load 3625 charcoal gray fillet. You could also, now what's gonna stitch is the little eyes and smile on your snowman. So you can pick whatever color you want, but of course this is the fillet we're using. If you're using a rayon, you can use the 1218 silver gray, you could use black, or you could use the 1130 dark brown. The choice is yours, but what's gonna stitch are the 2 eyes and smile on both of these. So what we recommend is this 3625 charcoal gray. And in just a second, we'll reveal the finished block. I'm so excited to see their cute little faces. Take a look. They're happy as can be. And hopefully you are too. How much fun was this to stitch, y'all? I really enjoyed it. Okay, let's do a little look from top to bottom. Oh my goodness. So stinking cute. Okay, so now just look at step 34 in your pattern. You are going to trim this to be 8 inches square. So the line that you have at the top and the bottom is a nice guideline to use with your applique placement guide. Let me pull it out for you. I have it over here to the side. So that line coincides with your seam line, or I'm sorry, with your trim line up here. And what you want to do is use your ruler and you want to measure 8 inches out. This actually, the line is only stitched 7.5, so you do want to make sure you go a 1/4 inch out of those stitch lines. But that's a nice guideline for the top and the bottom. And you want to make sure that you have a 1/4 inch under the tire and a 1/4 inch above your tree, because you want to make sure those aren't caught in the seam allowance at the end. So once you use this to trim your little thing up, you will store it in a safe place. And don't forget, you've also made 6 flying geese this month. So you'll store those together and keep them in a safe place. And now we'll eagerly await our next box to come, which is going to be so much fun to make again. Happy stitching, everyone.